Dude, you're getting a Dell.
Dude, you're getting a Dell.
If you watched television in the early 2000s, then you know who Ben Curtis is. Because between 2000 and 2003, he was the face of Dell Computers, playing a lovable teenage character named Steven, aka the Dell Dude, who informed prospective buyers of all of the perks of purchasing a Dell computer, and in the process, he made the phrase, "Dude, you're getting a Dell," a pop culture phenomenon.
Mom, Dad, hey, it's me, Steve. This year, to avoid any confusion, I'm putting my wish list on video. All I want is a computer. Now hold on, Dad. It's just $849 for all of this. A Dell computer, speakers, monitor, 1 year of MSN internet access, an Intel Pentium 3 processor, which is awesome. I even cleared a space for it. And Dell will throw in a free DVD upgrade. And Dad, I know how much you'll love free stuff. All you have to do is call or go online. Anywho, happy holidays, your son, Steven.
The commercials were such a hit that Saturday Night Live even did a sketch where they spoofed Ben's character, Steven.
Correspondent Steven, the Dell computer kid.
Thank you, Tina. Hey, Mom and Dad.
The hugely successful commercials ran until 2003 when Ben was busted for purchasing marijuana and ultimately let go from his iconic role as Steven the Dell Dude as a result. But that didn't stop Ben from pursuing his love for acting. Ben Curtis is a graduate of NYU and a talented actor that has guest starred on television shows like The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Orange is the New Black, Law and Order, and What Would You Do? He's also appeared in numerous films and in stage productions, and has even lended his voice to video games like Grand Theft Auto.
Gonna make deadline today?
Dean, I'm trying, but you keep yammering.
Yeah, that'll be 3 front pagers in a row. Gonna ask Ed for that raise.
Maybe I'll ask him to move my desk so you don't keep bothering me.
Please welcome Ben Curtis to the hot seat.
All right. Well, Ben, thank you so much for being here on my hot seat today. I really appreciate you doing it.
My pleasure. It's an honor. I'm in a red seat, so I feel like it's appropriate. Got a little sunburn today, red face. We're good. I'm ready to go. Ask me anything.
So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it. So between 2000 and 2003, you were the face of Dell Computers, playing a character named Steven, who informed prospective buyers of all the perks of purchasing a Dell computer. And you made the phrase, "Dude, you're getting a Dell," a pop culture phenomenon. In the process of starring in these commercials, you also gained quite a bit of fame. What was it like gaining notoriety from a commercial? And at that time, had you ever seen another actor gain fame in that same way?
Great question. And Bianca, I just want to thank you again for having me on there and for doing such a great job as a host and doing your research.
Thank you.
So it was a lot. The only person I had seen that achieve that kind of fame commercially was like the "Where's the Beef" lady. And you may even be too young to remember that, but it was in the 1980s. There was this old lady, and I don't know what commercial it was for, but she was always say like, "Where's the beef?" And she was really old. Everyone knew who she was, or like maybe Dave from Wendy's, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone knew the owner of that on those commercials. So they're really like spokespersons on commercials were still pretty new and they weren't landing. So I didn't really know anyone else exactly like that. I had seen it. I had a lot of experience hosting already. I was a professional magician. Starting at the age of 13, I had my own business performing. My dad was an Episcopal priest for 20 plus years, so I saw what it was like to, speak in front of people and make a difference for people. So I really hadn't seen that, and Dell had never used an actor in their commercials before that. So it was really a big deal. It hit around Christmas time and it just took off. No one saw it coming. I was in college. So I was on an acting scholarship at NYU, Tisch School of the Arts, the Lee Strasberg Institute studio, studying 5-6 days a week in a very intensive program. And I just started auditioning early because I thought, hey, it's going to take time for me to get an agent. And almost overnight, I was introduced from my friend to his friend's mom, who's a manager, who sent me out via an agent on a couple commercials. This was one of them. I noticed I was like 10 years older than everyone else. So I had to use my acting skills because they were looking for someone ages 13 to 17. So there's a lot of kids there. And I guess I was 19 going on 20, but I definitely had to play younger. And I had met David Copperfield when I was 4. I had a chance to be in one of his shows, and I was actually too shy then. But I started doing magic after that, and this comes from full circle. So David Copperfield actually, so he was a celebrity, and as I became a magician and did magic, I always said, I want to be famous, but I never want to be as famous as David Copperfield.
Mhm.
Because I saw that he really couldn't go anywhere. He had no life. Like when we were in the 80s, he was all over TV, like David Blaine times 10, because there weren't any other magicians. It was just David Copperfield. So that's kind of all I knew about success. And this thing just blew up. And suddenly I was in college still, and 9/11 had happened or happened during this time. It got so huge. I mean, to be on The Tonight Show, I was interviewed every day on newspapers, radios, shows. I don't even think podcasts existed yet. Maybe it's just radio shows and maybe some internet radio, right? Definitely, it wasn't. We weren't doing YouTube interviews yet. Like this wasn't a thing. So I was on TV a lot and trying to go to college and be a young human like anyone else trying to figure their life out, you know. So
Great.
it was a wild ride.
You actually led right into my second question. You were very young, 20 years old at the time that you began starring in those Dell commercials. And I've read that you were attending NYU, like you said, on an acting scholarship at the same time as well. Was it difficult trying to balance school and acting? And were you getting noticed by people on campus or in the street? What was your life like during that time?
Yeah, that's funny. That's a good question. Well, I was friends with Peter O'Toole's son Lorcan and Robin Williams' son Zach. They were roommates there, and so you kind of knew who was who on campus. The Olsen twins apparently went there at some point later when I was maybe there, but I never saw them. So I'm surprised there weren't more successful, like famous kids there. But you kind of realize that once you get that notoriety, you don't need to go to college, but you can continue acting. And it does help to go to college because that really gave me a lot of foundation. So I personally loved and glad I went to school. Um, Developed those relationships, those community building and things. So definitely at school, I started definitely getting noticed. I think mostly I got like I just wanted to be loved and accepted as a well-rounded actor, artist in training. I was really into Shakespeare and just character work, and I idolize actors like Jack Nicholson and Al Pacino and Matt Damon, and I mean even Leonardo DiCaprio since he was a kid, and all these guys. There's a lot of people, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. There's a lot of character actors that I really idolized because I saw they were incredible actors, people who could really transform themselves. You know, the Meryl Streeps, there's so many actors that are flashing through my head. But anyway, you get the point. And in school, I think a lot of kids actually sort of started hating on me because I still wanted attention. I still wanted roles. I still wanted to work hard. I still wanted to like give my all in class. And I think they felt like, well, like who are you? Because you already have a job. You're already famous. And there was a lot of haters.
Yeah.
And yeah, it didn't necessarily sit very well. And then it started conflicting with school, right? So I started getting so much work thrown at me, and that was really challenging. So yes, it was very hard to navigate the two. Fame is not something you can really prepare for. It's not natural per se. It's very unnatural to be placed on a pedestal for
Mhm.
your work in that way. The United States really puts people like that on that pedestal, and it can be damaging. And so you see a lot of young actors actually, deal with mental health issues as they're older because it does something to the psyche, and you really do need to be able to be out in public and be part of communities, and so it can be really isolating actually. And to School of the Arts, only 2% of applicants were accepted in the acting program. And it was an honor for me to get to go in. We couldn't afford it, took out tons of loans and scholarships. So I was working my butt off too.
Right.
And I didn't want that to conflict, but it started to. And so at some point, was trying to ride the wave, and I took a semester off school, and then I went back for a semester. I studied abroad. After 9/11, I tried to recover, but it was too difficult, and then I ended up. I didn't go back. I kind of stopped. I thought NYU maybe would give me an honorary scholarship.
Yeah.
Like I think they gave Alec Baldwin one.
Oh yeah.
And and instead, I ended up finishing 9 years later when I was age 30.
Yeah.
I went, with a bunch of 19, 20-year-olds, sat in that class with them, and I still auditioned for parts, and they did not like that. But I got to finally play this dream role, which I had auditioned for on Broadway. It's called Take Me Out. It's a really powerful play on Broadway, Tony Award winning play, and they were doing it at NYU. And there's a Tony Award winning actor named Robert O'Hara, who's a famous African American director and playwright in New York and worldwide, and he's really gotten known for his plays about race and homophobia, and he directed it. So I ended up getting the role I always wanted.
Wow.
So it was really powerful. So I loved going back to school, and I loved school in the long run. When I went back when I was 30, I knew what I wanted to do finally.
Right.
And I was kind of the same age as my professors, so we were hitting it off, and I was studying all the things I always wanted to study. So I say it's never too late to go to school, and I think there's a lot of pressure to go right out of high school, and that can be
Yeah.
great, but
Oh my gosh.
you can go anytime. It's more important. I say quality over quantity. So
Mhm.
I say, if you're going to waste all this, if you're going to spend all this money, all this savings that you may never have the rest of your life and will always be paying back, at least do it on something you care about and do something you love. And I really believe that to this day.
I did not know that you went back 9 years later and
Mm.
finished your coursework. Then that's very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that was humbling too, because I think most people didn't know who I was, didn't know anything about my past there, but it was kind of wild to try to explain that as a 30-year-old.
Aside from a paycheck, did Dell ever give you free items?
I mean, I got a hat and a backpack, so a shirt. We had to negotiate for a laptop, but I will tell you, we had talks about me making a comeback in the near future that I think they kind of dropped the ball on. I hope they watch this because I think it would be an incredible time for them to make a comeback, and they've already missed their opportunity several times
Yeah.
because Steve has grown up and so are they. So I think it'd be a great merger. But they did give me a laptop last year, and it was one for myself and my wife, and that was so we could use their new products.
Mhm.
I really challenged them about their market and the way they put themselves out there in the world, and they were really grateful to give me that, and it's been awesome. I love using their products. I have nothing but love for them. But I saw that Justin Long stepped down from the Mac commercials, so I'm now a free agent for Mac or Dell. Whoever wants
Yeah.
to go first.
I was going to say they have to get you because there's like a resurgence of the 2000s coming back right now.
Exactly. Yeah, like Karate Kid's back, and Roseanne made a comeback.
Yeah.
Listen, this was all in my pitch to them. I feel you. We could start a Bring Steven Back campaign. You're watching. There's already a hashtag. So
Yes, we have to get on that. We have to get on that. In 2003, you were arrested in New York City for purchasing marijuana, and as a result, you were fired from Dell. This is something that I do not think would happen in 2021 with marijuana being legal in more and more states and it just being socially acceptable. So I think that fans would have demanded that you stay the face of Dell. Did you feel like Dell overreacted in firing you?
so there's a couple things I want to say. Uh, First of all, I want to say it still could happen today, and it's pending on my race and where I was, and I absolutely could be arrested, and so could anyone today, depending on the state where you are.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm in Tennessee with my family, so it is not legal here, and that could absolutely. People are still racially profiled and targeted all the time here. So I also recognize that I'm a white person of privilege, and have still been arrested several times. So I've been there. And as far as being arrested, do I think Dell overreacted? Oh, and you said, you don't think my fans would have let that happen, which I love that. And I think people really tried to then. Still would love to have me back, but it's fans, unfortunately, Dell had a very strict no tolerance policy for anything illegal back then. So it was, unfortunately, that was still illegal back then. And uh, we, myself and Dell, lost a lot of money because of that decision. So I don't think they overreacted in that they were following policy, but I definitely think it wasn't a smart move to just drop it all together. I think they could have played it really well and use it to their advantage and had me, make a statement and be really professional and own up to it and learn from it and really make it a comeback story, which other people did benefit from. So, but at the same time, I'm grateful. That kind of helped the whole thing come to an end. The arrest was sort of a blessing in disguise because I just lived through 9/11. I lived in Ground Zero. I had post-traumatic stress disorder, which is undiagnosed. I was developing addiction to drugs and alcohol, and so I really wasn't healthy. And so it kind of helped those things start to stop so I could really get the help I needed because the fame was just making it's getting bigger and bigger. And you saw people like Britney Spears, who's unraveled, and even Dave Chappelle, there's a lot of people like that have over time, you know, the pressure adds up. So yeah, it can be tough. But I think it's a blessing in disguise in a way. I'm sad that Dell didn't have the fortitude or the gusto to come back and use it to their advantage.
Right. What advice do you have for young people who are in the entertainment industry and very much in the public eye that make a mistake?
Just to own your truth.
Mhm.
Just own it. The sooner you own it, the better. And the sooner you can start to talk about what you learned from it and to think about how you can learn from it rather than beat yourself up. Like we don't like come out of the womb walking. We learn to walk by falling. And so, make mistakes, dare to mess up, put yourself out there. And listen, if the acting industry doesn't give you a second chance, you can make your second chance. Bianca, you are making your own way right now just by putting yourself out there and reaching out to people like me. It's really beautiful. And I believe that if people really want to make something happen, that they can. And so if you make a mistake, do it. Be messy, and learn from it. Don't beat yourself up. Just use it as one more chip on your tool belt of experience to help someone else with. And that's why I love doing what I do now. Like, I'm not only an actor, but I'm a personal coach, freedom coach, life coach for people, especially men, who want to reconnect to their purpose and passion and courage and peace of mind and help get tools for healing and thriving during this time. Mental illness and mental health is at an all-time. It's just peaking, and it's going to continue to get worse before it gets better, unfortunately, because of the pandemic. But why I love doing that is I love being able to help people, empower people to own their mistakes and learn from them, because shaming ourselves just keeps that whole cycle going, and that's ultimately what leads to violence against other people. Bullying and a lot of mental health issues and things are just outlets that we haven't been able to process or give ourselves self space for to work out. So I just think it's really important to be gentle and kind to ourselves right now and always.
Your acting career certainly did not end after the Dell commercials ended. You've since starred in Broadway productions, had guest roles in shows like Orange is the New Black, Law and Order, ABC's What Would You Do, and have even lended your voice to video games. What has been your favorite project to date, and what are you most proud of in your career so far?
A great question. Um, wow, there's so many projects I've loved for so many reasons. One of my favorite projects to date, though, is I was a guest star on Marvelous Mrs. Maisel in season 2, episode 6, I believe, in the telethon series, and I'm this folk singing cowboy that's really excited about this new album he's released, and that was a great experience. I got to watch all the lead actors on there, but and I got to meet the star of the show as well, and she was just incredible and really humble and sweet and kind, and I got to work with the producers, and uh, it was just there. It was such a well-oiled machine and such an incredible piece of work. Dan and the whole family. That was really awesome for sure. As Orange is the New Black is really fun too. That character, especially like the South Boston's um, aggravated science teacher, high school science teacher. I could relate to that. And I'd also say, probably this movie We Are the Hartmans.
Mhm.
It's on Amazon. You can stream it on there, and it's a fun sort of coming of age, like community, like take the power back, um, romantic comedy that I actually helped create and co-produced, and I starred in with this really great actor, Richard Chamberlain, who was famous back in the day, and actually met my ex-girlfriend on that film, so
Oh,
she's
wow.
the romantic lead. You'll see our chemistry on there. Won a bunch of awards, went around film festivals, and it was really fun because it was just made. It was a passion project. We spent 2 years making it and saw it all the way through. We got to play live music in it. We brought a lot of bands together. And it's about this small music venue in a small town called Hartman's that is trying to stay open. It's the only place where all people are welcome, and it's being shut down by big box stores, sort of like the Walmarts and the Targets of the world that are really taking over and destroying communities and taking over businesses. And then they look like, then they provide everything. So it seems like it's a great go-to thing, but it actually does a lot of destruction to the community. So the film's kind of about that. It's sort of the first pre-Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah.
And it's just a fun, lighthearted way to look at life and how to take the power back and come together no matter race, gender, or creed.
Wow, that sounds awesome. It's on Amazon Prime, you said?
Believe you may have to rent it on Amazon. Yeah, I think so. I love the independent films. A lot of those I've started have been really powerful. And there's one play, I've done a lot of plays, but one that stood out this past a few summers ago I did, produced by Bryan Cranston. It was off Broadway. It was called The Crusade of Connor Stevens, and it was about this young man in Texas who was gay and had been his daughter and partner had been killed as a result of a hate crime against gays in the South, and it dealt with religion and politics and equal rights, and it was just a really really powerful and exceptional play to do. And Bryan Cranston came, and Aaron Paul, and the whole cast of Breaking Bad
Wow.
saw the show, and we had a lot of talkbacks. It was, just one of those things where every night people are like, "This changed my life. Thank you."
Mhm.
And it was such an honor to be able to perform in something like that. That really, I mean, that's why I believe in art, is just to help make the world a better place and give us all some place to dream and create and heal and grow together.
You're a public speaker and coach. Your Instagram bio actually says, I help men destroy shame and self sabotage and nourish courage, compassion, and love. I was going to say, can you tell me a little about what this means and about your role as a public speaker and coach? I know that you touched on it earlier.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yeah, it took some courage just to put that in my bio, as people know me as an actor and things, and they're like, "Oh wow, what's this about?" But I've just seen, especially during the pandemic, that, and I'm married to a woman, and talk to her. She does a lot of work, and we both hold space for healing for people and performing arts. And she's a singer-songwriter, and we have a band together. But I've really seen that women do have more outlets for asking for help and more permission in society, more circles to come together, and men have really been lacking that. And so I really saw a call to action to help men and create a space for that. So while I do help everyone, that's one thing I really support and focus on. So helping people destroy like those negative thing mindsets we were talking about earlier, just having compassion for yourself and nurturing compassion and love and creating tools for healing and to actually go after what you want, because I have had the gifts of doing that, and I've had the tools to do that, and the experience of really doing what I love for a living for pretty much all my life, whether it's been a magician, an actor, a dog walker, a singer songwriter, a coach, a speaker. I go after what I do. And so I've really been able to help people do the same, because the only thing in our way stopping us from our dreams is ourselves, usually. And so, a coach is a little different from a therapist. We're not in there just processing feelings all day. I'm really holding space for people to be a mirror for their higher selves and to be and say who they say they are. And I listen to them as a new person. We create actions and accountability and structures and have them go after that. So it's really action oriented, and it's about just kind of getting out in the field of life and playing and daring to make mistakes, because you only have one life, so you really have to do what you love and follow your heart, I believe.
Yeah, that's a great statement. You're not just an actor, you're also in an award-winning indie folk rock band and blues band called Dirty May. What is your role in that band, and where can people listen to that music?
Well, first of all, people can listen to that music anywhere you listen to this, you stream music. It's Dirty May, M-A-E, and our newest album, Holy Mama, is really one we're most proud of. So you can listen to that anywhere. So my role in that was the co-founder. I'm sort of the band leader. I help manage tours and organize, but we all do the work, as does my wife Cassie and our bandmate and good friend Robbie Frost. So they are both big parts of it. We started it together in New York City. We all were living in Harlem together, all into blues music and roots music, and I'm from Tennessee. I play the banjo and harmonica and guitar. I love singing harmonies, and it was really amazing. My wife and I kind of met making music together. I fell in love that way, and she's now the lead singer in my band. And we all sing in it, though. We all sing and write. The three of us all sing and write and compose and create and arrange. And so the music really is diverse, and it's a collection of all of our hearts and souls together. And so we're really excited about it. We're always looking for new places to come play.
You guys got to come to Chicago next.
We have been to Chicago, but we'd love to come back to Chicago.
I only have one question left for you, sir. Is there anything else that you would like to say or share?
I just want to say, if something has really touched your heart or reached out to you or resonated with you during this, to please comment and please share this, because we need as much positive forces out there as we can, and it's a really beautiful way to support this message and to support Bianca, and have a supportive woman of color and support women's voices in the world. It is Women's International Month, and I really support women's voices, so I'm honored to be on here with you. For you to hold space for me, I really thank you, and I see you, and I appreciate you and all that you're doing in the world to connect people. It's really cool. And I just want to say to anyone else listening, there's no dream that's too big to achieve, and just to follow your heart. And if people around you say you can't, then find someone who says you can and listen to them. Don't listen to the haters. I always say you create art for the people who will enjoy it, not for the people who won't. And if you don't share it, then the people who would enjoy it will never get to enjoy you. And there's only one of you in the world. So the world needs you. So please take care of yourself and please express yourself. So we need that now more than ever.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ben, for being on here. That was a great interview. A lot of positivity that came out of this interview. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really an honor to do it. I loved it. I had a lot of fun. You asked great questions, did a lot of research.
Oh, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it again.
Yeah, my pleasure, Bianca. Have a beautiful day.
You too. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.